What's up, everybody? It's Tyler from Dirt Road Country here, and I'm joined by a very special guest. She just put out her debut solo country album today. It's called Along the Way, and she's got 13 great songs on it. Colbie Caillat joins me. Colbie, it's a pleasure having you on here. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm doing very well. As you can see, my Georgia flag in the background here. I'm ready for game day tomorrow,
Love
and
it.
hope everything's going well for you. Congratulations on the big release.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I wrote this album 3 years ago and recorded it like 2 years ago, and so it's been a long time coming to finally put it out into the world. But I'm ready for it.
I know it is. If I can remember correctly, this is your first solo album and since I think 2016, right?
It is, yeah. It's weird because I put that album out and then I toured it for a little bit, and then I moved to Nashville and I started my band Gone West, and then we
Hmm.
worked on an album for a few years, and then the pandemic happened. So I didn't intend for it to take that long. It's just been there's been things in the middle of it that kind of happened. So
Well, Along the Way is 13 terrific songs, and one of those features a collaboration with Sheryl Crow, and it's called I'll Be There Now. What was the whole process behind this? Because I know you guys wrote this song 13 years ago.
yeah, so I wrote this song with Brett James like 13 years ago at my house in California, and I put it on my last album, Gypsy Heart, and it was called Never Gonna Let You Down. When I recorded it with Babyface, he took out the I'll Be Here part of the chorus, and
Mhm.
that was something I always loved and missed. So I wanted to re-release it with the original way I wrote it with Brett, and have Sheryl Crow duet with me. And it's a song about singing to the ones you love. I'll be here, and Cheryl's just a legend. And I couldn't believe she said. I mean, I asked her a few years ago if she'd sing on my album, and she said yes. And it took me 3 years to make it, and so I just re-asked her a few months ago, and she still said yes. So
Well,
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome. And something that I'll Be Here has in common with the other 12 songs on the album is that you were a writer on every single song. And in country music, that's like a big accomplishment because I feel like there's so many big stars that don't write their songs or they have a lot of cuts from other songwriters. And
Yeah.
to me, I think it's a big thing to write the song and sing it too. So, did you have any particular reason that you wanted to write every single song, or did it just happen that way?
That's what I've always done. I haven't released a song that I haven't been a part of writing, unless I've sung on someone else's duet that I wasn't a part of. But my parents taught me at a young age that I should be a songwriter and tell my story. And I feel like it's really it's impactful when I get to. It's first of all, it's therapeutic for me as the writer, but it's so special when your fans relate to the song and it helps them go through a loss, or it's like a background track to falling in love. And so I've always wanted to be a writer on my songs, and that's what I did with this album. I was very specific, and normally with other albums you write a ton of songs and you get a bunch of sessions in and you narrow it down, and for this album I really wanted to only write when I had something to say. And so that's why, I wrote, I think, 15 songs for the album, and 13 are on the record. And so it was exactly what I needed to say for this time in my life.
So, since you write every song on the album, do you ever have a particular favorite for each one? Like, do you have a favorite for Along the Way?
Gosh, I do for different reasons. Like I wrote a few songs by myself on the record, and those three I just love for different reasons.
Yeah.
Blue, I wrote on the piano right here in my house. Actually, most of them I wrote here in Nashville, and then Old and New was. It's just like I sat actually in this room and I was looking at things on my wall, and I just started like saying things that I saw and that were reminding me of my family and my life, and that's just kind of how it unfolded. But then like Worth It, that's one of my favorite songs on the record, and I wrote it with Liz Rose and AJ Pruis here in Nashville, and that was the first song we wrote for the album, and it really set the tone of what I wanted it to be. For It's a breakup album, but in a very loving, cherishing way of like of being grateful for what you experienced, and the person that you were with, and also being hopeful for what's to come.
I love it. And now I'm going to bring up this part of it because you hear a lot of things about how artists in country music they'll shift to pop and other genres, but it's not too common of an occurrence where a pop artist or someone from another genre comes into country music. So you're from Southern California, and I feel like we have a lot in common with this because I'm from New Jersey. Now, I'm not from like country New Jersey. I'm from suburban New Jersey. So We're both from, and you're from Southern California, like the LA area. Both of
Mhm.
those areas really aren't too country, and I feel like country music isn't too popular there. So, how did you get into the genre as a whole, and what led to this shift in creating a country album?
Yeah, well, it's definitely been a natural progression. Like you said, yeah, I wasn't raised on country music, but I grew up, Southern California. My parents raised me on classic rock and folk music. And I grew up going to Hawaii. And in Hawaiian music, they have the steel guitar that it
Yes.
actually came from Hawaii. So that was something that I've always grown up with. And then the acoustics and the classic rock. And I've been coming to Nashville for about 15 years, writing and recording duets with country artists. So it's kind of always been in my world. And now that I've been in Nashville for 7 years, I've just really fallen in love with country music. Like I live the lifestyle. I'm just surrounded by it. And for this album, it's been 8 years since I've released music, and I think it's just been something that's been embedded in me with the steel guitar, the dobro. I learned about the dobro a few years ago, and I was like,
Yes.
what is that instrument? I love it. It's like my favorite thing.
It's
So
cool, isn't it?
it's so cool. And when I do like 3-piece acoustic shows, that's what I do now with a
Mhm.
guitar and dobro, and it just has this really special tone to it. But yeah, I just think that my albums, my fans can still relate to my old albums and this new album. They don't sound too far apart, just some beautiful country elements to it.
Well, I mean, I think there's something in common with all the albums. It's just great music. And for people that haven't listened to any of the songs that have come out yet, and now that the album's out completely, all 13 songs, I highly recommend it. And I'm going to ask you a question that is right on the spot. If you
Mm.
had to describe the album and get people to listen to along the way in one sentence, how would you pitch it to them?
Oh, I wish you prepared me with that.
Oh, this is an on the spot question.
Oh, I'm not good with coming up with something right then. One sentence, I think I'd say it's like it's sunny, but it's very heartwarming. I feel like it's something that can like wrap you in a blanket and make you feel warm and cozy, but also free, like you're driving down an open road with the windows down and the sun shining.
That's a pretty good pitch.
Okay.
Well, if you didn't resonate with that pitch, I'm just going to tell you from my own perspective that you should listen to the album because it is great. Along the Way is out right now, 13 songs. Colbie's debut solo country album. Colbie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. I had a nice time chatting with you, Tyler.
You as well. And if you don't already follow Colbie on Instagram and the rest of the social media platforms, go do it right now. And yeah, go stream Along the Way. It is awesome. Colbie, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.